Hey guys, RC here, back with the next episode. What episode are we on here? Episode 6 of our Let's Play Fast Break College Basketball 2010. We are in the middle of recruiting season with Houston Baptist. If you did not see the last episode, you might want to go check it out. Quite a bit of information that I came across today on the color coding for players right here. Kind of going over some of the ratings and how to do a little bit, hopefully better analysis of players. So you might want to check that out if you're having some issues with the game. It may help you out immensely. Let's get back down into the call list. We're going to sort by interest levels, and we're going to back out the low players again. Basically, you're not going to have any chance to get these guys. Now, this second sim that we just finished last video, this is where you really start seeing some settling of where players are at. So let's start off with James Lemons and see what he's got going on. So we've moved up to number 2 on his board, and he does not have any offers. Now, actually, instead of doing that, let's go and look at by recruiting actions and look at the guys that have offers. We'll move them to the top, and then we'll go back to general here. All right, so we have a high and 3 averages. So we may be backing off a lot of these guys. All right, well, we put all of our points, all of our money last month on Larry Pierce, you might remember, and that has put us into first position from recruiting teams. Texas San Antonio and Prairie View A&M also have money. Now, the problem is we don't know what they put on him. If they come back with all 3 levels this month, they could jump over us, but that also tells us that we have to get in front of Lamar before they put an offer, and we can't go any cheaper than full bore if we want to keep him. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, I have some money that I can play with now. Here's the problem. Okay, now Tony Shu has dropped, or he's average, but we're 3rd, so I'm going to pull off. I'm going to keep him on the call list. We're 4th here. I'm going to pull his scholarship. We're 2nd here. I'm going to pull his scholarship. All right, so that's the 4 guys that we had put offers on. Now, let's go back and start reevaluating. Okay, and we'll do that by interest level. So our very interested guy, we're 2nd, no other scholarship offers, so let's take a look at him. He can get his own shot off pretty well. He's got a bad jumper, though. That's a concern because he's a guard. He's going to be doing most of his shooting outside. Now, maybe I don't want him to shoot at all. What's his distribution skills? Well, hands look really good. Passing looks really good. He might even be able to sneak in and get some offensive rebounds. Now, he's 5'10", a little short. That could be a concern. That could be why nobody else has offered him. Pretty good perimeter defender. Now, keep in mind, just like in real life, imagine a 5'10" guy guarding a 6'8" guy. It won't really matter how good that 5'10" guy is. The 6'8" guy is going to be able to go up and over him for jump shots. Now, he might be able to keep him from driving the lane and take a lot of charges, but that's a win for us at some extent, keeping in mind we're a 5 prestige school. 18 quickness, average strength even for his size, good jumping ability. I'm going to say we offer this guy. I like the fact that he can shoot a little bit, but you know, he's going to be more of a ball distributor, right? And this is, let's see, let me come and look here again. I want to look at, bear with me here because I'm trying to share information with you. Sim game stuff, fast break, manual. Here we go. All right, so I was looking at JPS. All right. So JPS, all right, INS is inside play. So inside, how he plays inside, scoring moves, rebound positioning, and creating shots, getting their own shot off. JPS is basically shooting. That's his shooting technique. Jump shot, free throw shooting, 3-point shooting. That's in training. All right, so just seeing if I can find some other stuff here. Pace, defense. All right, so that's how you're going to improve those. But that's what that's basically their shooting ability, how good they can shoot the ball. So when we say shooting here, that's going to be your jumper, your free throw, and your three-pointer. Those are all addressed by the shooting training in training camp. But so that kind of tells you that's the ability to his shooting technique, his jumper, his free throws, and his three-pointer. He's not very good at those. I may change my mind, but in fact, let's hold off on him. But I do like him a little bit. All right. Now let's look at the next guys. We're fourth on this guy's list. Nobody's on him. Shooting guard, 5'11". So still a little undersized, which may make him more amenable to coming to our school. Means other teams might stay off of him. He can get his own shot off. He can shoot excellent. He can be an average free throw shooter. He can hit the offensive glass a little bit. He's an average defender. He can steal, block, good stamina, good jumper. I like him. Let's go ahead and offer him. I'm going to offer him a campus visit, which means I can't visit him, but we're going to put the assistant coach on him as well. Now that leaves us about $700. All right. So who else can we look at? Well, Larry Pierce we've already looked at, right? Let's look at this point guard compared to Lemons. Well, actually, let's just kind of browse through here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take him off. Yeah, because he has scholarship offers, so we're gonna take them off. Because if I'm not on them now, then it's not gonna matter. Now, Texas Southern, I could probably compete with prestige-wise, but I don't have any money to put on it, so I'm going to lose him anyway. All right, so that's where we are. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. So let's take a look at this point guard. He can get his own shot off. Again, not a good shooter. Free throw shooter's better. He's only an average ball handler. A little above average. But I still like that other point guard better, even though he's a little bit smaller. I think his distribution skills are better. So I'm going to go ahead and offer him. Now, I don't have any money to put on him. That may change my mind. So we've got, all right, well, I don't have any money for him either, but I have about $700 left. So here's what we can do. We can go for average rating, all players, and no offers. And then we're going to look by ranking. All right. Now, these lower guys are probably going to be in higher demand. Oh, you know what? And let's look only in Texas. That narrows it down even more. So if we go overall here, now what you can also do is you can kind of look at their numbers, their shooting percentages, and that could give you an indicator of what their ratings are going to be. So he can score pretty well, pull down some rebounds. Field goal percent's 54. Only a 50% free throw. And it looks like he likes three-pointers. If we come down here, I'm just going to kind of scroll through a little bit. And I'm just looking for guys that I can afford too. I can always use more height. 20 points, 7 boards, 1.8 blocks, 65%. All right, so let's evaluate him. And I could go ahead and offer him a scholarship while nobody else is on him. I mean, I can always pull that next week, right? So that's what we'll do this week. And that uses the rest of our budget. We'll go ahead and sim the month. All right, nobody signed, which isn't surprising. They don't usually sign till November. So let us now look at recruiting all players. I want to change that up, but I want everybody on my call list, which isn't much. General. All right, so Billingsley actually dropped to low, and there's why. He got 2 offers this week, so boom, we're going to go ahead and pull off of him immediately. That's too bad. All right, let's come back up. So now we're first here on Little, but he's gotten a second offer. We've dropped to third on Pierce, so we're going to have to come off of him. That's too bad. Lemons were first. We've offered him an offer. And Durrett, he's got an offer from Louisiana Lafayette, so we're going to bail on him too. And, you know, this is kind of the small budget dilemma. You know, you may not have enough money to go after all 4 players. We may have to do that a little bit at a time. All right. Now, my head coach is a better recruiter than my assistant. If you have the money, that's where you want to go, if you have to choose. Now, that only leaves us $200, which won't be enough to evaluate anybody. So we're just going to be happy with putting max dollars on both of these guys. And then we'll see about maybe trying to jump on some people later on after these guys hopefully sign with us. All right, well, we got a commitment from Lemons, so that's awesome. A reminder to do training camps and to look at red shirts. No players are willing to red shirt, so that means my incoming freshmen don't want a red shirt either. All right, so let's look at training first. We'll recommend. Now, I use the recommend, but this is where you might want to get in there and get a little detailed and kind of looking at the user's manual, which I actually saved that, but it's available here in the game, I think under tools, and you can actually, it'll bring you to the website, and then you can save that. But it tells you what to train, and you have 30 points. So this is what you train to work on different things. So we're working on conditioning, which will boost up stamina. And as you can see right here, crucial for improving stamina. Okay, strength, quickness, and jumping. So all of these items is your conditioning. All right, perimeter defense, post defense, that's going to improve here. Now keep in mind, it will not make their potential better. It might a little bit, but it's not going to make a drastic difference. What this is doing is improving it from here to here, you know, so it's filling in that gray potential area is what it's doing. Okay, post defense, perimeter defense, ball handling. Okay, that's for your point guards or your ball handlers, handling and passing. Shooting is the three-pointer, free throws, and jump shot. And inside is his positioning, and that will also affect his rebounding. Okay, So those are the things to train on. So if we go back to training, you can see we're working very heavily on inside, especially on the big men, but then we're working very hard on the post defense on our young big man, our power forwards, and then we're working on academics to keep people academically eligible, things of that nature as well. So this is where you might want to delve in. If you've turned off academics and they can't fail out, maybe you want to pull something out of that area and move it. I have it turned on because I think that's realistic. You should be in school to earn, have an education. So they need to be going to class. Let's see. Back to, so we got it. We got one guy. And let's check on Vince. Now we got jumped over, so that's a concern. So we're going to go ahead and revoke him and take him off the list and let him go to Texas Southern. All right, now here's the problem. I've got nobody else on my list. All right, so we're going to look at all players again. We're going to look at players that have no offers, that are average or better interest, 2-star or better, and there's only 4 of them. Oh, and we're still in Texas, so that'll be our starting point. So first thing I want to do is evaluate all of them, and then we'll see how much money we have left. Now the other question is, do I want to evaluate more people, or do I have enough here to maybe make a decision? Well, these guys don't have any offers. He's going to get one by somebody that just lost a player just because he's number 168 in the country. He's number 315. Maybe I could steal him. Now he's a point guard, 6'4", so that's a concern. 2.8 assists, 2.7 turnovers. I would say his passing and handling is not very good, if I had to guess. He also doesn't shoot real well. Okay, do I want to take a shot on that? Again, I think that 168 guy is going to go. Plus, look at the teams. He's looking at teams in the 90 prestige range. All right. All right, this guy is a 2-guard, scorer, few rebounds, a few assists, 50%, 56%. Not a good 3-point shooter, but again, we don't have that. But I need to probably put some money on one of these guys. To have a shot at getting them, right? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and offer him and put money on him. We'll offer and put an assistant coach because that's all I've got. And then we've got a little less than $300. So let's see. Nope, it's checked off, so I don't have any money to put on anybody else for evaluating. Training camp, we already did training, so let's run training camp. The reminder that you're going to get. We do have an academic suspension, Michael Hauser. All right, so I think that was our freshman guy, was it not? Yes, it was. So he's suspended to start the season. That's too bad. All right, we're going to do a recommended depth chart. So Lynn Griffey, Jonathan Parker, Lloyd Berrios, Robert Deal, Andre Hunt. Now, if we go down this list, freshman, 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 freshman. So there's our four of our 5 freshmen from last year, right? Now, one of those guys is a walk-on, I believe. Yep, Hunt's a walk-on. I did not recruit him. So sometimes at these low-end schools, you will actually get better walk-ons than you get anything else. Let's see. We're doing all right on time. So we've done the recruiting because we just ran training camp. All right, so let's come back and let's just kind of look at these guys real quick. So remember, your inside is the ability to get off your shot. The jumper is your ability to take a shot. Free throws if you go to the line. Three-pointers we don't care about, but what they will do if they have a predisposition to three-pointers, they will shoot from farther away, which could affect their basket making ability. Hands, passing, the ability to hold the ball, grab the ball when it's thrown to them, distribution and passing. Offensive rebounding, this is just the offensive skills, strength, jumping, and stamina. Okay, now they're going with a senior at the power forward here. I've got a lot of red guys, and that's okay. Griffey would probably be my 4. Hauser would be my 5, were he not suspended, but that's okay. Now, what I want to make sure is I've got at least one guy that can rebound. Griffey can do that on the offensive glass. Defensive rebounds, Parker can hit the defensive glass. So I've basically, between these two guys, I've got my rebounding covered. Okay? Post and perimeter defense, neither one are great, but they're not horrible. And I'm going to need them in the post. And I really don't have anybody better except for the guy that's on suspension. So he, again, would be up here. And he also has the 8 in offensive rebounding. It would be a little offset, but we would put, maybe him here. With him and Griffey, we'd be better on the offensive glass, not quite as good on the defensive glass without Parker. So that means Parker might play anyway, even though he's not as good. He fills a need for us. So that's where it comes down to your roster evaluation. We look at stamina, how long they can stay on the court, their strength. Okay, so his strength is 19, and he's a 16 shooter. Okay, so he's inside. He's inside. These guys can shoot well from outside. They're not really great at getting their shot off. They're below 10, so they're below average. So we have to figure out whether we want to be an inside team, an outside team, or kind of a balanced team. We've got 2 guys inside, 2 guys outside. I'm probably going to try balanced, see what happens. We may try a couple of games at inside and see what that does. Now, what about our ball handler? Well, that's Hunt. He's a walk-on, a 10 and a 9. Dahl is 11 and 8. He's actually a better free throw shooter. He's a better all-around shooter. Although, you don't really need your point guard to be a shooter particularly. But if he's going to be just as good, he's quicker. He's got more stamina. But, well, and he's actually a little bit better on the defense. But steals and blocks go to Hunt. Everything else is pretty equal. Now, this is where your playing time factor comes in too. So playing time is on a scale of 1 to 10, and this is defaulting so low because you go, wow, Griffey's one of your better players. Yes, he is, but look at his stamina. He won't be able to stay on the court anyway. He's going to be dragging butt. So he won't be able to play a lot. So even though he may start, we're going to end up seeing Michael Maiden coming in quite a bit. And if we look at him, not a shooter. He can rebound a little bit. Not a very good defender. Okay, so, we do lose a little bit there. But he's the best backup defender that we have in the paint. You look at our 4 centers that can come in, and Maiden is the better of the bunch. and he can block shots and defensive rebound as well. Now, Provost, same thing, just not very good. So, we're just going to have a big drop off. Now, this is where you would love to redshirt someone like Griffey, but he's not willing to. So he won't. You won't be able to redshirt him, even if you attempted to. All right, so now we've kind of looked now at offense. We've got two guys that can get their shot off, but aren't very good. One of them has pretty decent ability to grab offensive rebounds. The other guy's the defensive rebounder. So we could look at some second point shots with Griffey here. He's very strong, so he could crush the glass and then go back up strong with second chance shots. Barrios and Deal, outside shooters, they're not horrible, but they're, a little below average getting their own shot off. Now they are better at foul shots, so maybe, where are you going to get more foul shots? Bringing the ball inside, driving the lane. Deal actually has decent hands and passing ability, so he could actually grab the ball, dish it out, whatnot. So I think what we're going to do in the game plan, let's go ahead and recommend first. We want that at 0-1 at the worst. We're going to focus inside. I agree with that. Now, my guys are not great shooters, and we don't have a lot of stamina. All right, so if we come back and look at these notes that I have, if we come down and look at these notes, we were looking at pace. Here we go. So pace is the overall speed at which your team plays the game. A faster pace is more likely to take the first good shot they can find. Now, if you've got really good shooters, that works well. Teams running a slower pace will be more patient, looking and spend more time looking for a good shot. So basically, a 10 in pace is the Princeton. Okay, that's in the wrong spot. We're going to cut that. That goes here. Okay, so, if you don't have as good shooters, we want a slower pace. So I'm actually going to slow that down a little bit more, down to a 3. I want to see how they react in the first couple of games with that. Now, motion, the higher the motion setting, they will play a more structured game. So if you have some really talented guys, real athletic, think guys like Michael Jordan, James Worthy, players like that, you want to give them the freedom to create. Your less talented players need a lot more structure. So a 0 here would be a free-flowing game, kind of fast break. Loyola Marymount back in their heyday with Hank Gathers, and that was a huge loss to basketball. A 10 would basically be the Princeton offense, North Carolina's old four corners offense. So it's saying a 3, but I actually want to dial that up. Let's put it up to an 8 and see what happens. We're going to play a 2-3 zone because we want a little bit of double teaming. We are going to double team pretty heavily, both inside and outside. We're not going to press or trap just like last year. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Let's see. So we have already run so we're at the season tip-off. We have reached the end of the video, so let's go ahead and put a cut here. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll get to the games in our second season next episode. See you then.